Hey guys, it's Griffin. Welcome back, ladies and gents. In this video, I'm going to be showing you exactly how to sign an A-tier client in 2025. Now, I'm sure a lot of you guys have already clicked on hundreds of videos just like this one of how to sign your first OFM client, how to get clients that make 100K a month, etc., etc. Listen, this space is so saturated with this, that, and the other on how to do client acquisition. But in this video, I'm not doing that. I'm not giving you one strategy, one win-all, end-all solution, because that is in its own way bullshit. What I'm going to be giving you is multiple different paths to go down, different outreach systems that I've used personally, and a personal agency outreach flow that not only we use inside of our agency, but anyone can start. In this video, you're going to see a bunch of different methods that have been preached on over the years of OFM, but I'm going to be breaking down exactly how to run them, which ones are better, and the one that I would personally use in 2025. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get straight into the strategy and switch over to the MacBook. Now, if you guys are familiar with my content at all, you know that I put a very high importance level on the impact that a model has within your first 90 days of your agency. And what I mean by that is if you sign a bad quality client, whether that be looks, language, communication, responsibility, motivation, anything that the model is lacking, if you sign a client that is filled with problems, filled with headaches, that will depict how your next 90 days is going to go inside of your agency, and honestly, whether or not you're going to make it successfully in OFM. So I know how many videos there are on how to sign a 10K a month client. There has to be probably upwards of 1,000. And so this video, I hope to eliminate all confusion, whether you are a beginner, a intermediate, or an expert in outreach. I'm going to be showing you what's worked for me, what's not worked for me, what the exact and almost blatant lies gurus are telling you to sign clients with, and then finally my exact strategy that I would run in 2025 to sign the best client. So let's first talk about really quickly before we get into the breakdown, what is an A-tier client? To sum all of the attributes and qualities that an A-tier model has into just a couple sentences, I would say one, that they replicate your effort with results. And what I mean by that is that if you put 4 months of work into an Instagram strategy, you are going to see extreme growth in the numbers that are on the UF page. So that obviously has to do with the content, the reels, the motivation, the chatting, the look of the model itself, everything like that. And the second part about that is headache. I would not sign any creator who is hard to work with, doesn't treat this like a business, and is hard to get in contact with. So now that we've stressed the importance of how crucial it is to sign a high quality model when you're first starting, or to have one inside of your agency, and also went over what we're looking for versus what we're not, let's get into the breakdown. So the real bottleneck in OFM right now is this. What a lot of you guys are focusing on is backend systems, scaling, or content. Instead, what you should be focusing on is signing a high quality model. We've just talked about this. It is the sole reason why I have made the money in OFM I have. Between 50K and when I hit 200K, I really did not switch that many systems. Sure, there was a couple advancements on chatting and marketing. However, it was strictly the model that made the difference. I'm going to move my camera over here so you guys can see a little better, but let's get into what a bad model is. Models who are mid, they ghost, they flake on content, or vanish under pressure, which is killing your drive. And not only your drive, but your most valuable thing in business, which is your time. Time comparison between an A tier and a C tier model. Your A tier model is going to respond fast, deliver content on time and high quality, quality content, effort, etc., etc. A C tier model, you're going to have to be fixing content, little to no results off your effort, angry clients, bad communication, etc., etc. You can tell just off of the exact comparison that we've done here, having an A tier model is not only going to generate more money, but it's going to save you time. So this video covers how to source, find, and sign creators who can actually hit 10K a month plus. Now, when I say A-tier creator, you should not be shooting for 10K a month. Any real A-tier creator could easily hit 50, 100, 200K a month if you put in the right amount of work. Now, let's get into the game that you guys love to talk about. Cold outreach in 2025. Is it still worth it? Does it replicate the same results as it did a couple years ago? Let's get into it. So, yes is a simple answer, but only if you're doing it right. It's oversaturated as hell if you're just sending DMs from a faceless agency account or a personal account. You really need to expect a low response rate. Now, there is some things you can do to improve your response rate and how many clicks you're actually getting on that exact DM. The things that I've really seen the differences is one, you need to stand out. And this looks like either having a personal brand or backing your pitch with legit results and value. So what do I mean by personal brand? If we could sum this up very quickly, just as far as KPIs go, I would look for somebody who has 10K plus followers, high quality profile picture. In your bio, it says what you do, where you do it, and how well you do it. Additionally to that, some little add-ons is you can create reels and post for free. And the reason, obviously, I know everyone knows that you can create posts for free, but taking 5 minutes to take out your phone and record a reel of yourself talking about OFM or OnlyFans clients or how to get more subs in your OnlyFans, that establishes credit inside of your niche and puts you at a higher status than 90% of the guys who are just outreaching off of an account that they think it looks like they make money. And the reason why you need to do something more valuable, more important, and the reason why you need to stand out is simply because girls have been burned. It's 2025. OFM has been around for multiple years. Almost every creator with a link in their bio has at least 50 to even 1,000 DMs from OnlyFans managers looking to sign them. So if you think that you're going to go in there with a basic personal account, basic outreach messages, and get a response, you're out of your mind. So what a better strategy is going to do is, one, use your personal page or brand. Even a basic one is okay, but when I say basic, I'm still talking about clean, established, very high quality, and put yourself as somewhat as a status inside of this industry by recording reels or highlights or showing your results. To give you an extremely personal example about this, I had a consultant who was doing personal outreach off of his account. His response rate was minimal, below 2%. What we did was he had a very nice car along with some of his buddies, and he recorded 2 to 3 ads of these cars talking about OnlyFans management, OnlyFans agencies, and everything in between. From those videos alone, they pulled minimal views, but he boosted them to have 100K, 200K views. And once he did that, his response rate skyrocketed. If you guys think that your model isn't looking at whoever you're DMing, I'm saying, isn't looking at your personal brand page or your agency page, whatever it is, you're out of your mind. They want to see whether or not that you are somebody they want to talk to, because nobody wants to waste their time in this industry. Some other things that you can do to really stand out and have a better strategy is dropping value and showing that you're a real operator in this game, along with speak their language. So be casual, be real, and be helpful, not a bot. I cannot stress how many of you guys go into OnlyFans model pages and talk about, hey, I'm Marcos from XYZ agency. Your page actually has a couple of issues with it. I'd love to show you what we can. It's the worst DM I think I've ever seen. You're not getting responses. It's been turned over and turned over. It's burnt out. If you're gonna work on the DMs, you need to work on the surface level of your account first. Now, let's get into something that's a little bit more trackable and a little bit more responsive, which is running ads for inbound creator leads. Something that I personally do, and I know a lot of guys have great success with, so let's get into it. So to be honest with you guys, I wasn't even going to really release my ad strategy on how exactly I run creatives and promos for models and inbound leads, but I figured you guys were tired enough of getting no responses in your DMs, struggling to sign a client, and I'm honestly tired of hearing help me sign a client. So here you guys go. This is how you run ads for inbound creator leads in 2025 the best way possible. And just for reference, I know guys who pull in 100 to anywhere at 500 plus leads per day. And that's right, per day with these ad strategies. So one, I do know they work. And two, you're gonna get more responses with all of these ad strategies, but I wanna also say you're going to get lower quality. So what do I mean by quality in ads versus quality in DMs? So when you're outreaching on DMs, you get to pick who you outreach to, right? So you're looking for your dream, the best potential client you could have. Now with ads, you don't really get to pick who signs up and who doesn't. So really quickly before we go any further, there's 2 ways to create higher quality leads in your ads. And that's by adding 1, friction, and 2, creating status. And I'm gonna dive deeper into those here in a second, but let's get into it. So with ads, you want to boost testimonials. You do not want to create ads where it's, are you an OnlyFans girl looking for... That's dead. It's been in the past for years and years. There's different ways to run ads now for this. Your target is going to be USA based only, 18 to 26, and you want to focus on credibility and pain points. So when you're showing these ads, you want to create and show very high quality proof. What I mean by that, luxury cars, girls in the background, testimonials on your dashboard, OF results, client testimonials. And client testimonials is honestly one of the biggest things. So I made sure to insert a little snippet right here, just explaining how big of a difference it can make when you really dive into creator testimonials. The only holdup with these strategies is one, you need real case studies or testimonials to make this work. So if you're an absolute beginner, there is some workarounds, and I know a guy who does this and did this from the start. What he did was he created ads. He had honestly good playing cards. He had cars, he had women he knew, he had a bunch of people that could help him create these creatives. He then ran the ads and got tons of leads. But if you want to do this, if you don't have the same cards as him where you can get your hands on a nice camera, a nice couple of cards and models, then you're going to want to run what I call the nerd setup. So other ads that I've seen work is honestly podcast style recording, just like the one that you're seeing now, in which you can go into your OnlyFans dashboard and break down creators' results. I've seen that work for a lot of ads, and honestly, it's another way to go about this without having the IRL proof. Additionally to that, be ready to spend $300 to $1,000 to test your first campaign. And I also want to say, if you're paying $1,000 for 300 to 500 leads, trust me, that's worth it. Although you're probably going to cut around 400 of those leads, look into 100, decide that 50 are worth working with, and then maybe select 10 to 5, maybe even. I promise you, having those 5 to 10 leads that are interested in working with you because it's an inbound lead is way more valuable than buying a $1,000 established model on Marketplace. And also, really quickly, run these ads on Facebook and Instagram. Don't just do Instagram. I see a lot of guys purely focus on Instagram, but some of these girls also do the Facebook game. So if they're really trying to make it work, worth running ads on Facebook as well. Now, speaking of buying creators, let's talk about model marketplaces and what they can do. So model marketplaces are now legit in 2025, but 90% still suck. And when I say still suck, scams, overpricing, bad contracts, models being uninformed, etc., etc. There's so much stuff that goes on the behind the scenes of model marketplaces. And I'm saying this mainly because I know a lot of people who run this and have pitched me to help them run these marketplaces, and it's honestly some dirty work. You'll get girls who don't even know that they're being sold. You'll get females who don't have an OF, but their stats are fake and they're listing them for more money because of that. There's a lot of ins and outs that go about it. So let's break down the exact pros and cons. What you're looking for, the pros, is you skip the outreach headache. You know revenue, boundaries, and content level up front if you have a good marketplace. And you can also get high quality models with a higher price tag. And they're also going to be pre-onboarded creators, so it's a pretty smooth handoff overall. Now, the cons, the cheap ones have usually low English, non-US, no support. You get what you pay for. Additionally to this, thinking about it now, I don't know why I didn't add this, just the pure factor of scams. You get tons of scams in modern marketplaces and also contract issues. You're going to run into that contract issues, excuse me. You're going to run into contract issues. What that means is basically a lot of the times these creators that are being sold are being told that we're waiting for this amazing agency to come in and manage you. And so once they sell the contract to you, they might pitch it in a kind of different way. And so once you buy that contract, you'll get a lot of these girls who are expecting results in the first 30, 60 days. And if you're a beginner on marketplaces, not something that you want to do. So you want to definitely have a strategy behind that model you're going to buy before you even get into it. So what you really need to be looking for is pre-qualified US-based creators, onboarding support, contract packets and personality breakdowns, ongoing support or group chat with models. So if your model marketplace will not put you in a group chat with them along with the model for contact purposes, whatever they may seem, it is probably and most likely a scam. But if your marketplace allows warranties, allows conversations between you, him, and the model to figure out any details, that's going to be a marketplace that I would usually trust. So, in my personal opinion, there's a lot of options, obviously, that we've discussed already. You have ads, you have organic outreach, and you also have marketplaces. What I think works best in 2025 really does depend on what you're looking for. So, let's break down each one really quickly. The cold outreach, you're going to have free, it's organic, it builds your skills of knowing how to talk and communicate with these models. The cons, it's very low ROI unless you're branded and have a very high personal brand. So if you do have that, it is one of the highest yielding outreach systems. Running ads, it's going to be fast inbound leads. You're going to get them quickly. You can filter out the flakes with friction, but the cons is you're going to need money, case studies, and probably some luxury items. Additionally to that is marketplaces. You can really skip to the serious creators and you get fast ROI if you buy a pretty high level creator. However, the cons is going to be costly and many of them are scams. Now, let's get into my exact personal flow to sign a 10K a month model. What I've done for you guys here is I've conjured up what's worked for me versus what's not, and generated honestly kind of a mix of two. So I'm going to be very transparent right now. This is not the outreach system that we use in my agency. However, I'm going to explain why I do not promote that. In my agency, we do strictly model to model outreach. The reason why is we don't run an agency that wants to sign hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of leads of models. We're looking for the best of the best creators who are going to start, launch, and generate 200K within 60 days. So with that being said, we have to be very selective, very, very strict with how we sign. And so that's why we do model to model outreach. Additionally to that, when we're doing model to model outreach, we're renting these accounts from a personal vendor that I have, and the vendor does not rent publicly. And so I cannot promote the strategy that I rent. But if you do find somebody that will rent you on an account, or you have a model, what we do is outreach off of model accounts that have 200K plus followers, verified, reels, active, highlights, basically everything, right? So there's no difference between a influencer and this account we're outreaching off of, and we treat it like just a model to model conversation and then lead into pitching the agency. More or less in the DMs, we pitch the manager himself, which is either going to be myself or Jason. But with that, we have a very unique strategy, but it does yield the best quality models. However, what I'm about to show you is my personal opinion, the best way to do outreach in 2025. If you're a beginner all the way to expert, this yields high results, low ad costs, as well as being able to select who you want to outreach from. So this is how I would do it. First thing you're going to do is set up your agency and personal setup. Your agency and personal page need to be perfect for this strategy. And the reason why I went down the Instagram route is because it's something that you control. You control your follower count, you control your profile picture, you control what gets posted on your page. You get the point, right? So clean IG page, case studies, results, etc. Everything, right? Personal page active with value-driven content. Now, this is what you're going to do. On your personal page, you're going to run testimonial ads whilst doing manual outreach on that account. And so what that looks like is you're going to be posting reels, aka ads, off of your Instagram reels. So you're going to be targeting these models, right? But you're not going to be sending them the video or booking in leads from that video. They're just going to be able to see your ads, see your content, see everything that you're doing about OFM, and at the same time, be able to do outreach manually. And whilst this whole thing is running, you're going to be pulling in leads from your ads as well. It isn't something that you're not using these ads for anything. You're going to set up an ad campaign. The reason why it's a little bit better, in my opinion, than running straight ads is because it's going to be more cost effective because it's going to be yourself off of your personal account, and the ad spend's also going to be lower. And what that does is increase your response rate in the manual outreach, where you can be more selective, get higher quality because they're seeing your status in this industry. Now, when you do get leads manually or from the ads, I want you to qualify hard. Look for a content consistency, camera quality, and drive. From there, run a short call to test chemistry, sales, whatever you want. Also, guys, remember when you're doing outreach, a lot of guys have this weird tendency to be some professional higher up CEO, like I have to be, use certain words, do certain things. Not true at all. And in fact, a lot of models prefer if you weren't. I remember when I first started, I would get on calls and I'd be perfectly straight up. I'd address the model as her first name. I'd be very clear. I'd be very professional, only would use certain words. But now when I'm sending voice messages, I'm very chill. I'm very relaxed. You have to realize that these models are looking for somebody to not only be their manager, but if they're going to trust you with 50% of their income, you have to be a friend. You have to be somebody that they can trust. And so when you create a barrier by doing this whole CEO facade that you are, it allows the model to back away very easily. And you do create a barrier. Because think about it. If I hopped on a call with you, the viewer watching this right now, and I was very professional, didn't address any funny comments, it was serious business, you would feel like you couldn't be yourself. You'd feel like you'd also have to put on a persona, also have to put on a facade. When you drop that, when you just become the agency owner who generates thousands and thousands and thousands for these girls, but you're their friend, that's where you sign clients. Now, after that, you sign, you close them, you're going to lock in with the systems. Remember, guys, onboarding docs, model agreement, get your contracts, chatting team prep. Remember, behind the scenes is always first. OF, scripts, content chatters, everything like that. And then launch your first 7-day strategy plan. Now, some final tips for you boys. Don't waste 3 months chasing girls who don't want to work. Like I said, A-tier fucking model is what's going to get you money. I preach this over and over and over again. And I'm going to keep preaching this until you guys understand and stop asking in my Telegram. If you want a real agency, real results, hundreds of thousands of dollars, It's plausible, but you have to treat it like one. Either build your brand and outreach hard manually, or buy access to creators who already are hungry to work, or mix both together with the personal account ad strategy that I was mentioning earlier. If you guys have any questions about that, on the ad strategy itself, setting up these accounts, running the meta ad campaigns, anything at all, you can either join my Telegram for completely free, real proof. We have weekly calls in there as well where you can ask questions every Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern. Or if you're an agency owner really looking to take this to the next level, you can apply to work with me personally. More so my agency. We do full 360 consulting for agency owners who are looking to take whatever number they have now to the next level, whatever their goal is. And so if that's you, click the first link in the description. It'll take you to an old video of mine, learn some more information about me and my story, and then from there, check that video's description. And with the Telegram, that'll be the second link in the description. Other than that, boys, that's how to find and sign your first high quality creator in 2025. Listen, I know we went over words and docs and didn't go through a live process, but if you listened and actually are going to take this into actionable items, I promise you, you will sign a model. And the reason I can guarantee that is because I teach people exactly these things and I see results that they get. And so I personally know what I preach works. I know I'm no longer a beginner. I know that I'm no longer in a lot of your guys' shoes, but I have people who are in your shoes and I'm getting them to the point that they want to go. So I know what I'm saying is working. Other than that, boys, it's been Griffin. And like always, peace out.